The year was 2007, and I was packed into a theater with my friends from high school. Every screen of this 13-screen multiplex was showing The Dark Knight at midnight, and they were all sold out. Heath Ledger had just died, and critics were calling this the greatest comic book movie of all time. But I wasn't expecting much. I thought its predecessor, Batman Begins, was completely forgettable. I had seen it twice. And the trailer for this one had me wondering, why so serious? But I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Then, in 11 minutes, I was asked to take 8 giant leaps of faith. By minute 26, I had lost all faith in this movie. And when all is said and done, I count 11 times when the movie should have ended prematurely. But before I show you that, let me show you how we got there. Production slides. A silent Batman logo. A 15-second chopper shot into a high-rise. Suddenly, a window blows out. We're a minute into the movie. The trailer shot of Joker carrying the clown mask, establishing this movie is about the Joker. Then some dialogue. We're 2 minutes in.
6 shares. Don't forget the guy who planned the job. He thinks he can sit it out and still take a slice.
Clearly it's set up that they're gonna betray each other. A minute later, and the setup is paid off. The first guy kills another. 3 minutes into the movie. The leap of faiths begin. 3:33. Freeze. The banker, calm as can be, kills one clown with a shotgun. Then goes on to waste the rest of his rounds on shots that clearly won't hit a target. Not likely, but also just plain stupid. Then, the guy who gets up after saying, "He's out, right?" actually survives a shotgun blast. And it's pretty clear the banker had a clear shot.
Where did you learn how to count?
Then, there's the second guy who's breaking the lock.
Boss told me when the guy was done I should take him out.
He's literally just killed a fellow robber, and a complete stranger comes in. He goes on to tell him that he just killed another guy, and he doesn't even turn around to check if this guy can be trusted. Not even remotely possible. No. This is just bad screenwriting, or bad directing, or both. This movie is just as cartoony as... But we trudge on. Not even a minute later, this guy has it figured out.
I'm betting the Joker told you to kill me as soon as we loaded the cash.
That's 1 out of 6, so it's clear the screenwriters think that the bad guys should have figured this out. Then if this guy's figured it out, why didn't the guy right before him figure it out? Or the guy right before him? Then we get this gem. No. I killed a bus driver.
Bus driver?
Long pause. Sidestep.
What bus driver?
The bus bursts in without the guy firing. I mean, not even a startled misfire. I mean, he's ready to shoot this guy after all, and he waits when this guy gives him a line about a bus? Sidestep. Long pause. Sidestep. No. Then, the guy who was just shot with an automatic weapon isn't dead? Well, let's let that one pass so we can get a bit of character development. The Joker puts a grenade in the banker's mouth. The Joker reveals himself. The banker gets 30 full seconds to try to push the grenade out of his mouth. But no, he makes no attempt to spit it out. No struggle, no noise, no nothing. Even though we've established he's a man of action in the face of danger. And the banker's mouth isn't even completely full. There's no way the grenade would be stuck in it either. No, not gonna happen. And finally, just over 6 minutes in, number 6. The school bus drives out of a building and cuts in front of a line of school buses going through a green light, narrowly cutting off one bus and dragging along smoke and literally pieces of a door, plainly coming out of a hole in a building, and the bus driver he cuts off doesn't even honk or wave down the cops that are driving right by him. No. Not gonna happen. That was Joker's intro. What's next? We get a filler scene establishing Batman missed a call. Maybe he's busy. A rampage of bad edits. But I'm still giving it the benefit of the doubt. Batman? We hear from Scarecrow that this is not the real Batman, but there's nothing to make us believe this. A Batman kicking ass shooting people, they sick the dogs on Batman, some incomprehensible action, and the Batmobile shows up. But does nothing. It loiters, then intimidates by blowing up the parking deck office and the vehicle next to the one that is backing out. So we establish that Batman is not above indiscriminate destruction. We don't know if the office was empty, and we're left to assume that the missile was intended for that truck pulling out. More incomprehensible action. Then the fake Batman has a rifle which the real Batman bends the barrel of with his bare hands. Leap of faith number 7. He fights off the dogs, tossing one maybe 10 feet, mostly off screen, so we're not above dog abuse. Very big dogs. Then suddenly, the fake Batman is on the ground as real Batman gets up to jump into the roundabout, where he lands on the van with Scarecrow, bringing it to a dead stop, inexplicably. as if the Scarecrow is waiting to get hit by Batman. Then we suddenly cut to Batman unmasking Scarecrow next to a fake Batman. Finally, we establish the theme of the movie with, "What's the difference between you and me?" But Batman's answer is just plain laughable, in that it's not at all justified or illuminating. "I'm not wearing hockey pants." Then we cut to the full line of criminals tied up. A freeze frame shows that there are 3 fake Batmans and 6 real bad guys, sitting together as if all criminals. But we are given less than 2 seconds of this view, and the characters on the right half of the screen are literally in shadow, then obscured by the Batmobile pulling out. 11 minutes into this movie, and I've had 8.5 leaps of faith.
Where did you learn how to count?
8.5 leaps of faith. Not to mention 3 minutes of the most confusing action I've seen in any movie, the Transformers franchise included. Let me emphasize, this is the first scene with Batman. This is the scene that is supposed to establish who Batman is, what he stands for, what he will and won't do. But I can't follow any of it because of shadows, mumbles, bad edits, multiple Batmans, and 2 leaps of faith. But it continues for another 2 solid hours of blaspheming leaps of logic, massive plot holes, ridiculous inventions, and nonsensical heroic acts. But wait, I'm still giving it the benefit of the doubt so far. Well, until this scene, 22 minutes into the movie. First off, how did Joker find these guys? And why is an unwelcome guest walking in unattended? Evidently, he killed the bouncer, so why do none of the henchmen stand up immediately to go arrest him before he gets any closer? Oh, so the screenwriters can make this happen. A magic trick, in which he literally kills a guy. Ta-da! But instead of everyone getting out of their seats storming this mofo, the bad guys want to hear from him. After he just killed a guy. Like, whose guy was that anyway? Game over, man. Like, this movie follows no sense of logic. "I want to hear proposition." At this moment, the crowd was laughing, but I turned to my brother, and like me, he was baffled. Neither of us were laughing. I've never walked out of a movie without finishing it, but this was definitely the closest I've ever gotten. 25 minutes in, after a whole monologue of exposition, some guy finally gets mad and says, "Enough! Do you think you can steal from us and walk away?" Which is mind-boggling at this point, because that's exactly what the Asian guy did just seconds earlier. "For obvious reasons, I couldn't wait for your permission." And nobody was this pissed off at him. I mean, I don't know if it's a bad writer or a bad director or both. Every character in this movie is passive. You can see that nobody is taking action. And the conflict of the bad guy being angry is cartoonishly overacted, and his rage comes at the most illogical moments. And he physically does nothing. He's mad, but he does nothing. That's just bad screenwriting. And how is this grenade a full threat? I mean, he hasn't even pulled the pin yet. Just blow off his head. Or do none of these bad guys have the guns? Did I miss a coat check scene or something? So he just walks away. Mark the time. 26 minutes, 9 seconds. The movie is over for me. I'm completely checked out. But moments later, we get another gem that should literally end the film, rendering the entire film moot and pointless. It's right here. If anyone wants to kill Batman, the Joker and all of his henchmen included, look at all those windows next to the bat signal. All you need is one sniper. They're out in the wide open, completely unprotected at a location where you would expect Batman to be. So if any of those henchmen in that room that made a deal with Joker had half a brain, the movie would be over right here, right now. And you know what? I wouldn't be so nitpicky if this movie didn't take itself so seriously. The problem is, I haven't seen this movie in 13 years, but when I decided to watch it again this year, I made it exactly this far before I remembered why I think this movie is one of the most irrational, nonsensical movies I've ever seen. It just goes to show that tone, to many, is much more important than plot. It feels gritty, it feels realistic, it's edgy, and where it doesn't make any sense, the music tells you how to feel. If there's one thing that can be learned from the success of this movie, it's that tone is more important to some than others. No, not that tone. Well, actually, exactly that tone. I mean, that's the tone that sets the tone of the film. Good job, Hans. Well, I finished the movie anyway, but not without taking notes on all the logical fallacies and massive plot holes that abound in this train wreck of a film. Like the following. No news outlet shows terrorist videos on TV, especially not with audio, and especially not in full. Batman survives a jump out of a 50-story building. Okay. I mean, look at him picking up speed, the cape fluttering in the wind, finally a little spread of the cape, and oop, he comes to a nice little stop, at like 60 miles per hour without a seatbelt. But the true problem is that Joker is still holding his guests at gunpoint. For Pete's sake, Batman, think about your guests. But instead of resolving that, we cut away to the next day? Like, what? They're in front of the goddamn lobby. Like, where's he gonna go? me, man. The thumbprint. This is beyond impossible. Just plain stupid. If you're gonna do the impossible, put it in the middle of a throwaway action scene. Don't make it the core of some strange plot beat that never pays off. I'm going to the safest place in town, Bruce's place. But I'm gonna stand next to a window that's clearly not bulletproof because Joker just blew it up a few scenes earlier. Okay, 117, mark it. Batman just killed a man.
Batman just killed a man. Batman just killed a man.
I haven't been sure until now. You know, they've just been hitting the floor silently until now. But right here, he definitely just killed a man, right? I mean, besides the impulse energy of 50 miles per hour turning into 30 in reverse, his head was thrown forward over the steering wheel when the cab is crushed into the ceiling. I mean, what are we to assume? He definitely just killed a man. Then, what's going on in this scene? Batman was gonna run the Joker over until the last moment when he chickened out? I don't get it. Literally, I'm in the theater thinking, what the hell just happened? There's no superhero in a movie this serious who is not mature enough to kill a murderer. I mean, Batman just killed a man. At least take his legs out.
I have one rule.
Wait, what's your one rule? Seriously, this hasn't been established in the entire movie. 90 minutes and not one mention of it before now. I mean, how hard is it to state your one rule? Here, right here, clear shot. No cop would not fire. He just killed and admitted to killing 6 police officers. He's literally armed and dangerous. Rules of engagement allow you to take this guy right here, right now. Clear shot, bro. Take him out. No? No? Wait, what was that? A flashback? The first flashback of the entire movie to clarify something. Wow, an hour and a half of nonsensical rubbish relying on all sorts of off-screen tell don't show, and you finally found one scene that was so confusing without a flashback that you had to put it in right here. Here. Not earlier, like maybe when you mentioned that Batman has one rule, but didn't bother to mention it. Wait, didn't they lock up 541 of these guys? He wasn't one of them? And yet another silent death. Lau is literally burned alive on top of the fire, and he doesn't make a noise. I hear dogs barking in the way background, but what about Lau? He's just taking it like a man? Or did they knock him off during one of those dozen or so cutaways? Finally, the first reasonable reaction to seeing Joker. Rage. Now this is a man of action. Jeez, by now I don't even care about this bullshit. Another off-screen death. You know, I don't think we've seen anyone die in this movie so far. Even the people who are clearly dead. So I guess I'm left to conclude that they're all dead, right? I mean, if you're gonna kill a guy in a movie, make sure the audience knows he's dead. Otherwise you leave 43 open questions at the end of your film. Like, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Probably not. Definitely. Is it toxic? Like, what is that? You know, I said he's dead, but it's just a pencil to his eye socket. At the right angle, it just takes out his frontal cortex, or maybe it slips by his brain entirely. The point is, who knows? The real concern is, who does Batman kill? Is this guy dead? Is this guy dead? He looks dead. Is he dead? Is he dead? I mean, he's not moving. Definitely. Indiscriminate destruction. What are we to assume? Really? Is he dead? Is he dead? Probably not. Who knows? Alright, here's my theory. The first draft of the movie was cut at a reasonable pace to match the first 18 seconds of the movie. With this pace, you were able to think about the plot beats. But when that cut ended up being 4 hours long, they had to tighten up the cuts, every single one. That's why half of the action is cut off. Instead of eliminating or reshooting stupid scenes, like the bullet prints, they sacrificed structural clarity by cutting way too fast. But the editing did help to cover the blaring plot holes. I mean, did they really just leave Joker at the party? It doesn't help that half the dialogue is garbled, mumbled, or hidden under a difficult accent. Well, I appreciate you sticking with me for this long. I don't get this movie. But because you stuck around, I'm gonna reward you with 11 alternate endings to The Dark Knight.
Bus driver? What bus driver?
Psst, throw the grenade.
Yes!
Everybody duck.
Yes!
We're going after the mob's life savings. This could get ugly. I knew the risk when I took this job, Lieutenant. How are you gonna get back in? He knew the risk.
Come on, I want you to do it, hit me, come on, hit me, hit me.
Now that's what I'm talking about. What do you want?
I just want my phone call. But I know how you got these. Shit. Whoops.
He's a silent guardian, a watchful protector. The Dark Knight.